Should Dallas not give Dak Prescott a long-term deal and keep him on the franchise tag?
Yeah, I think they should. I think that's a smart move for them. Quarterbacks are badly overpaid. There's a reason that when you pay them top dollar, they never win the Super Bowl, not in this century. And Domonique, I know you were talking to me off air. I'm sure you'll bring it up about the stats that say that stat doesn't mean what you think it means, but the correlation is there nonetheless. They haven't won. Russell Wilson came close, but Russell Wilson a lot better than Dak Prescott. Look, Dak Prescott beats bad teams, that's for sure. And I think he has that stuff in him where he's not just going to be a game manager who's big on third down, which is a good thing to be, but as time goes on, he'll go from a good quarterback to a great quarterback. I think he will, as Tom Brady and Russell Wilson did. They were very good, and then they became great as time went on. And I think Dak can follow a similar trajectory, maybe not pitched as high as Brady or maybe not even Wilson, but maybe. We'll see. And that's lofty praise, but where is he right now? He's a good quarterback who does really bad against good teams. He doesn't do well against good teams. The stats across the board, not just the wins and losses. His play falls off, and he's doing it on a team that should be a powerhouse. So we can blame the coach all we want, but they're beating the bad teams, and Dak is underperforming against the good ones. Guys, it reminds me of Kirk Cousins. And I know Dak, because Dak has won a lot of primetime games, and Kirk Cousins couldn't win in primetime forever. And I would also take Dak over Kirk Cousins if forced to choose, right? But I think it's an interesting comp because Kirk Cousins, the team that saw him up close was like, yeah, we like him. We think he might be something. We don't want to invest long-term in him, but we'll keep franchising him, right? And then eventually Kirk Cousins got an upper middle class deal with the Vikings, and the Vikings have had a lot of success. Maybe partly as a result is they didn't overpay for a guy who's not quite elite. Were the Vikings more stacked than the Cowboys last year? Because they did better. They won more games. They made the playoffs. They won a playoff game, like with Kirk Cousins. So Dak, and Kirk Cousins, the guy telling Dak, the franchise tag can be your friend. And it can also be a friend of a team, guys, who maybe doesn't want to make the same mistake that the Eagles and the Rams did when they overpaid for guys who can't carry the team. Right? You can argue whether Wentz or Dak is better. I think Wentz's peak is better than Dak's peak, but Dak has been there more consistently, all that. You can argue that. But I will argue that the Eagles and the Rams made mistakes by overpaying for good, potentially elite, but not yet elite quarterbacks. Why should the Cowboys follow their example?
I mean, the stats that you referenced was like a regression analysis between the improvement of different positions based on the quarterback salary, which I'm not going to dive into because it's too complicated. It's too complicated for the show. I won't dive into that. I'm fine with that. I'll beat you with this. Then what else you going to do? I hate that everyone gets so up in arms with how much a player gets paid. The reason why teams are bad after they pay their quarterbacks is not because the quarterbacks is not worth it. It's because the general manager is incapable of building a team around them. The hardest thing to find in this league is a quarterback you can win with. Why in the world would you not keep that guy or not pay that guy when you find him? You find him, and then you do what the Saints have been able to do. Go find other players in the draft. That's how the Saints have been in competition. And the suggestion that no one can win with a high-paid quarterback because no one has is just faulty because this CBA has been in action for 9 seasons. That's such a small sample size. In all of those seasons, there have been high-paid quarterbacks, one time in the Super Bowl and several of them in the Final Four. And the Saints, who I just talked about, came a bad call away from getting to the Super Bowl. So because it hasn't happened in the tiny sample size of 9 years over the 50-plus years of the Super Bowl does not mean that it can't happen go forward. So let's stop piling on the players for trying to get all their money and start piling on the general managers for having the inability to build a team, a winning team, around a good quarterback. We're talking about a few $1 million here or there. It's not enough to make or break a franchise. So figure it out. Like it's not on the quarterback. It's not on the players. It's on the team to build around them. It can be done. 9 years is not a long time. And I think in this case, whether I'm the president of the fan club or not, whether you guys are blind and can't see how good that guy is or not, doesn't matter. He is a franchise quarterback. Pay him if you want to be good. Don't pay him if you want to be bad. Simple.
Listen, that was so passionate, and I mean, sheesh, you almost made me love Dak Prescott. Dom, well done, well done. Listen, the way I look at it is this. I don't want Dak Prescott playing on the franchise tag if I'm the Dallas Cowboys. But I do want him playing on the franchise tag if the long-term deal is not to my liking. Listen, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, they have been making smart decisions in the sense of building a roster over the last few years. And I believe this is another one they want to be smart about. They want Dak at a particular price. They want Dak at a certain length of time. That's what you're supposed to do as an executive. Try to find a way to build your team. Do I think that Dak is the franchise quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys? Absolutely. Do I think he has an opportunity to be a great quarterback at some point? Absolutely, but it's not that time now. He's not in let me put the team on my back and carry them mode. He is going to need some help, and as they are built now, they have the help on the outside. They have the help at the running back position, the offensive line, to move forward with Dak Prescott as their quarterback and win, but not if he breaks the bank to where you can't re-sign some of those people or add more to it. And so I think it's going to be very intricate in the way that they move around the salary cap, figure out ways to do this contract, understanding that there may be ramifications from dealing with the pandemic that we're dealing with right now. And so I think a lot goes into it. Should Dak be the highest paid quarterback in this league based on his play as compared to other guys? No. Should he be because that's just the way it usually and normally works when you're the next guy up and you're good enough? Probably so. I think that's where the disconnect between these two sides are, and I think the Cowboys need to get it done, but at the right price.
Yeah, I agree with that. Domonique, as the president of the NFLPA, and you ran, according to Wikipedia, no opposition, right? You ran unopposed, right?
Yep.
No, okay. So and a Harvard business grad, you know, this is not that complicated for you, even if it's complicated for some. You have to rob Peter to pay Paul in the NFL. You got to do it.
Okay.
There's a cap.
Okay.
It's not like
That's
you're
fine.
pro
That's
labor
fine.
because
That's
quarterbacks
fine.
make
That's
more.
fine.
If quarterbacks
That's
make
fine.
more, then safeties make less.
That's
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.